You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Hey, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Millennial Management Podcast. I'm your host, Brandi, the Millennial Manager, and today is Wednesday if you are inside of the podcast realm, right? But if you are inside of Patreon, you are listening to this very early. It's Monday, and I hope that you enjoy this episode because we have a very special guest. Her name is Cierra Gross, and she is the founder and CEO of Work Receipts, which y'all hear me talk about all the time, okay? And if your ass ain't downloaded Work Receipts, you need to do it right now while you are listening, okay? Or while you are watching. So in addition to Work Receipts, she also has several other business ventures, and I'm going to pass the floor to Miss Cierra Gross.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, not only as a guest, but as a fan of you and your work. So thanks so much for having me. But yes, I'm the founder and CEO of Work Receipts. Work Receipts is a part of a larger brand, which is Workolution. That's our parent company. And Workolution holds our flagship brand, Cagebird HR, as well as Work Receipts. Cagebird started 3 years ago as a independent HR consulting company. So we provide employees direct access to independent HR support, really trying to bridge the gap between, we don't trust HR, but we also can't afford an attorney or don't have anywhere to go for sound, culturally competent HR support. So that was 3 years ago. That brand has done over $1 million in revenue in the 3 years that it's been operating. And then also,
come on, wait, hold up, man. $1 million. You're like, and it has done $1 million. Girl, I'll be like, and I did. I'm so excited. That is such an amazing thing.
Thank you
are
so
very
much.
Welcome. Absolutely.
It has not come without a ton of work, but it's something that we are proud of. And then we have Work Receipts, which is our new product that went to market in October of 2024. It's approaching 10,000 downloads. It is a documentation tool to help employees document what happens at work as it happens and provide real-time on-demand services and support directly to you through the application. So things can happen like lawyers can contact you when they see that you blog something that requires some attention. There's real-time learning and development that is offered to you through the application, and so on and so forth. So that's the gist of what I do in the context of the world of work, but I also invest in real estate and other things as well. But yeah, just so happy to be here and tell my story and journey of how this kind of all came to be.
Oh my gosh, I really just enjoy you so much. First of all, Work Receipts, just starting there is such a good, I mean, it's just so good to have that resource right on your phone, number one, okay? I don't think people realize, you just taking notes is not good enough. Sometimes you need something that is with you all the time. And what do we have with us? Our cell phones.
Yeah.
And that app is right there. So you could go right to that app, put in the scenario, put in the situation, and then tell us what happens from there once you put in that scenario. What happens? What's the next step?
Yeah. So first and foremost, the decision to make it a mobile app over a web application was not an accident, right? When I was making that decision, because we're a bootstrap company, so we don't have a lot of money to there's no $5 million sitting around to spend, right? So the decision to go for a mobile app over a web app really just came down to the fact that an employer can block you from accessing any such website on their company network, but they can't block what's on your personal phone. And so we were like, okay, let's just start with a mobile app and eventually develop a web app such that people who want to add, because there are folks who are like, I got stuff from 2009, I want to import over. And we're like, you're gonna have to wait. You don't have to wait. You're gonna have to wait till the web app comes.
From 2009, good God.
Yeah, you have to start with 2025, okay? Because to get all that in there and the way that the app is set up right now, it's gonna be rough for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can log in 3 categories: adversity, accomplishments, and time off. That was also an intentional decision because we wanted to make it a holistic career support product and not just a place to log trauma and negative things that happen to you. So when you go to add a receipt, you can attach documents, you can record voice notes, you can attach photos, PDFs, etc. And then when you submit a log, you can either submit it regularly or you can ask Jayla AI for support. And the way Jayla AI works is she takes the data from your profile plus the information that you added in the log, and she basically operates as like a personalized Google search. So she's giving you relevant information that you need relevant to the issue that you just documented. And that also was an intentional decision because for me, I was like, okay, this information already exists on the internet. People can go to Google and search, people can go to ChatGPT and search, right? But it's really going to get you probably 50% of the way there because the law works such that if you're Black, you're going to get a different answer than if you're white. If you're gay, you're going to get a different answer than if you were straight. If you live in Texas, you're going to get a different answer than if you lived in New York, right? And And the average employee doesn't understand enough about HR or the law to understand that you can't just ask these general questions and get a specific answer. You have to give specific information to get a specific answer. And so that's what Work Receipts does. And it's really, we believe, revolutionary in that it provides you kind of this unrestricted, promptless access to relevant information that you need. What does that mean, right? That now means that the Wendy's worker can in real time enter what happened and get relevant information that they need to move forward. At the same time, every time you make a log in the app, it's anonymized and sent into a dashboard. That dashboard has employment attorneys in it that are reading these anonymized logs. Yes. And when they see one, we have a proprietary formula. That's another thing. We just literally filed a, what do you call that? It's a patent, but it's not like it's like a preemptive patent. But because I developed an algorithm that basically will assign like a rating basically to whatever it is that you logged, right? And so attorneys can go into the product, they can read anonymized versions of the app, of your entry, and if they see something that they want to talk to you about or that you need to be aware of, they'll request to contact you through the application. You'll get a push notification asking, do we have permission, right? Because consent is at the cornerstone of everything that we do.
That's right.
We'll ask for your permission to connect you with this lawyer and to de-anonymize your information. You can say yes or no. And if you say yes, then a chat screen will open and the lawyer's calendar link will be sent to you. And then you can go and schedule a free consultation with the attorney.
Oh my goodness. Can we talk about efficiency? Well, first of all, that is like this is the most efficient thing that I've ever seen dealing with HR, because we know that HR can be very inefficient and oftentimes not on the employee's side or to their benefit. And what I see when I see Work Receipts is, or the way you describe it, you can log everything right there. The assistant, Jayla, first of all, I love that name. That's my niece's name.
Listen, Jayla is Black. I don't just to clear. Yes, Jayla is Black. Period.
That's right. So we log this with Jayla, and then Jayla is able to kind of take us where we need to go. So if we need to discuss it with someone who's an HR consultant, it kind of goes in that direction. And then we also have the opportunity to speak with an attorney as well.
Yeah. So
without having to search for one.
Right. And if you're not necessarily ready to speak to an attorney, it'll tell you that, right? So it's not like a guarantee that you'll speak to an attorney, but if you were to log, for example, that you got slapped at work, it's going to get flagged like that you need to talk to an attorney. Right. But in the interim, Jayla AI is, she has the wealth and knowledge base of any other AI product out there. And so she can support you through all kind of stuff, whether that's, writing letters to HR, navigating difficult conversations, asking for promotion, etc. So it's not like she's just limited to, telling you your rights and options. Yeah, general information around your rights and options at work. She can also, act as kind of like a career coach or guide and provide guidance as well. So
oh my
she's
gosh.
really cool.
This is amazing. I will say, backtracking on what you said about that slap in the face. I get a lot of emails about workplace violence, number one, right? Where HR is not really acting on the employee's behalf, where they file a report with HR and HR is not necessarily moving forward with that. And I always tell them, if somebody put their hands on you in the workplace, you need to file a report with the police. Okay. In addition to filing a report with HR, and HR is not the end all be all. Okay. With your company, you need to seek legal advice. Number one, either through the Work Receipts app. We'll start there, number one, because they're going to take it to an attorney, but also criminally, right?
Yes.
You cannot put your hands on people and then the only reprimand is you miss 5 days of work. Like, no, they should actually be tried.
People be called
put in jail.
Back in the day when I was on the phones in Cageburg, and I know, let me just say this, I know people want to talk to me. I know my people who work with me like Cierra, they request to talk to you. I want to talk to y'all too, but it's not possible. Like it's just not
a reality,
humanly possible for me to get on the phones anymore. Like it's just not possible. But I do love y'all, and I enjoy talking to y'all in the comments. But yes, when people call up here to Cageburg and we talk about people hit them and slap them, and I'd be like, so who bailed you out of jail? Because like, I don't personally listen.
I know, girl. I read them emails. I'm like, what the hell?
Why? It is so crazy that like if somebody were to hit you in your house, we would scream abuse, 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 abuse. But if somebody hits you at work, and the only thing you could think to do was call me? Girl, defend yourself. You have a right to defend yourself. I don't care what nobody says. I don't play. Listen, people go to work to get a paycheck. We do not go to work to get beat on, to get slapped, to get hit, to get disrespected.
Harassed.
Period. Harassed. And it's so sad. Like, we collect a lot of data, and our intent is to use the data for good, right? To understand how can we move legislation in this country forward? How can we advocate for workers' rights in this country? Because what people don't understand is that a lot of these data sets and these reports that be in the news about 60% of American workers, if you double click on that survey, it's usually like 1,000 people that they asked. And there's 160 million workers in the United States.
Yep.
So those surveys, although statistically significant, they're not truly representative of this country, nor the experiences that people are having.
Like the actual number.
Specifically around, Black and brown minorities in this country. And when I say nothing surprises me anymore, I've heard it all. Like nothing surprises me. And it's just like, we talk to people all over the country. Cageburg supports about 3,000 people a year, all across the country.
Oh my goodness.
And how is it that everybody is a poor communicator? Riddle me that. Like, how is that possible that all 500 of y'all that is spread across the United States don't know each other from a can of paint in different industries, different points of your career, are all being given the same feedback?
Yeah,
because we're being subjected to tropes in the workplace. And I think that's my frustration with HR. And as an HR professional, I don't think people know, I have a master's degree in HR. I did HR for 7 years at the highest, I would say some of the highest levels. I never had to look for a job. I was always recruited. So it was like, I was in these situations where I'd be in, performance meetings, right?
Yeah.
And all the Black and brown people at the bottom of the list are low performers. But when we talk about high performers, we're not even talking about the actual performance. We're talking about the fact that you like this person, and that's why you're calling them a high performer.
And but are they really? They're not.
Yes, and it's like, that's my frustration with HR, and that's why I'm hellbound and bent on doing something about it. Because it's like, these people are making decisions of consequence about the lives of other people, from their pay to where they live,
How they live.
How they live.
Whew.
When you talk about Black women being, the sole provider in their homes, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And HR does not do a great job of recognizing there's a social societal issues that we experience outside of the workplace are also inside of the workplace. There are racists in HR. There are bigots in HR. There are homophobes
right. They don't just
in HR.
leave. They don't just take it off. Be like,
there are what? Transphobes in HR.
Let me take off this racist jacket. Let me take that off because workplace is not the place for that. I'm gonna just take off this.
No. And before the HR warriors come for me, I'm not saying that there are not good people in HR. I'm saying that they are not motivated to do the right thing. Right? Mm-hmm. We are motivated to make money, to provide for our families, and if that means operating in the best interest of the company, that's what we're going to do. And so I'm not putting anybody. I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner here, but I think we can realize that the way that HR has been functioning does not work. And I think that's evidenced by the fact that it is now a global known fact that HR is not your friend. Like and people say, "Oh, I'm." Girl, the jokes. People be like, "Oh, you're ruining HR. You're making it worse." I'm like, how? It was worse. People forget. I was a victim of HR in HR.
Listen, we have 96 countries listening to this podcast every month. If HR wasn't a problem, I would not have a platform at all. Because it's clearly there's some shit going on that we are just not really addressing it. And it's not just happening in America. It's happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere. Globe. And
right now,
in Jamaica, Africa. I get emails from Africa.
Work Receipts has an international wait list of almost 200 people.
Come on. I saw it on y'all website. Join the wait list.
The girls in London are begging. They're like, Cierra, please. Whatever we need to do.
I saw it in our comments for that ad. Yes. They were like, girl, why is this not in other places?
Well, where are you? Singapore? Okay. Baby, I'm coming, y'all. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best.
Like,
I'm doing the best with what I got. I'm doing the best with what I got.
Come on, Mariah. You work hard, baby.
Like, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. So
it is. It's amazing how like some people in HR, because I'm in operations, so it's a little bit of HR in there, but that's why I've been trying to tell people this is what you do to avoid talking to these motherfuckers, so you're not in a situation with them. So that's like how I kind of maneuver in that is like a little, a buffer, right?
Yeah.
But I think that the people who are inside of HR, they are blind to the fact that managers are a big ass problem. With a lot of the things that happen inside of the workplace. There are employees that are just as big, okay? Because there's more employees than it is managers. But I'm just saying that management, oftentimes leadership is the reason why a lot of the work environments are the way that they are and why the company is not necessarily fueled to want to do better because there's not enough people willing to be like, actually, no, I'm not doing that.
Because people are not motivated for that. People are motivated to collect a paycheck and pay their bills.
And go home.
And what I will say is that I think HR is aware that managers are not adequately trained at a minimum, right? They're not adequately trained, right? And so I want to just be clear. Now I have a lot of empathy for all these groups because from the outside looking in, I can understand how it's like, HR is the devil. Okay, I get that. But also, these people are just trying to do their jobs. And
they're employees too.
They're trying to provide for their families, right? Managers are not given adequate training. They're just not. And that's been an issue ever since I've been in HR, right? It's like we're not giving people training. They don't understand their role and responsibilities as a lawyer. I mean, as a manager. They're not given the appropriate training, the tools to be able to manage people because you have to realize employees come to work with all kind of stuff.
Come on.
Like HR is basically therapy.
Yes.
People are coming in there with all kind of personal issues that they think HR is supposed to solve, mental issues, like everything. And managers are just simply not equipped to deal with that.
No.
And then you put on top of that just the cutthroat nature of corporate America, and we get the mess that we have.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not the type of person that, you know, I feel like I'm best to influence change outside of the system, because I'm not an ass kisser and I'm not a bullshitter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the thing, and that's just gonna be
Call it a thing.
And while I was in corporate America, I played the game and I played it well, but it just got to a point that I was just like, this is coming this is coming at a very real cost to me. And that is who I am at my core. Yeah. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I left corporate America, not voluntarily, but because they played with me and thought that I was going to leave without a check. And I don't know why they thought that. But when I left,
I'm leaving here with something.
Baby, I know the rules. Why would y'all play with me like this? But
I wrote them.
But after that was over, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a year off work. This was my plan. I will have a eat, pray, love moment, sabbatical.
Come on, eat, pray, love.
Girl, I was going to travel around Italy, yada, yada, yada. Because in my past life, I owned a backpacking company. No, I don't talk about it. But in my past life, I owned a backpacking company. And I took people on backpacking tours around the world. So when I'm traveling like that, those are the memories that I have. That was just like, man, I was living a whole different life. I was young, wild, and free. And I was living a whole different life. So I was like, you know what? I just went through this like traumatic situation. Let me go travel again. Yeah. Well, in my Black girl moment, I was like, I can't just exist for a year. I got to be doing something.
Oh,
like,
Lord.
God
time
forbid,
to get a degree. You know, we... It almost got me the other day because I was like, you know, I really could just go back to school and finish. I really could. But then I was like, I really don't want to be sitting in nobody's class, but I am going to go back and finish. I'm telling you, you get bored. That's like a Black woman thing. I don't know what it is.
What it is. It's in our DNA, but I did not go get a degree. Instead, I was like, you know, I'll just create this, you know, I'm newly unemployed, but I have this skill set. And all of my homegirls seem to be having the same experiences as me, but they don't know how to navigate it. So I'm gonna just throw this up on my Instagram and tell people that like I've opened this consulting company and I'm an independent HR professional and I can help them and give them like my objective opinion, because I don't really care what's in the best interest of your company because I don't work for them. Yeah. Girl, I threw that damn link up. An hour later, somebody had booked an appointment. And next thing I know, we're doing $500,000 a year. And I'm just like, okay. Yeah. Well,
there's a need.
Okay. There's a need here. And then once I started hiring people and I had built the business to the point where I really didn't have to do much.
Be there.
Right? Yeah. Because I had a really good team because I'm in HR. So if I can't build a team, baby, we are in a bad way. So I built a really, really good team, loyal team, committed to the work. And so I really was just kind of like thinking, right? It's like, how do I make this bigger? How do I grow the business? I wasn't in the business anymore. And I was like, you know, one of the things that's slowing up this business is the fact that when people book appointments, they have to send us documents so that we can get up to speed with what's going on. And people were sending us pages and pages and pages. People were sending us handwritten notes. They were sending us audio recordings, hours and hours long. And I was just like, this is not sustainable. And that's where the idea of work receipts came. So at the time, work receipts was simply a way to make Cage Bird run more efficiently. Yeah. But then over time, as I started developing it, and by the way, I cannot code. I don't know. No, I'm not a technical person at all. Girl, no. No.
That is amazing to hear because you have a very tech savvy company, or companies. Let's put the S on there. But
girl, we are in the age of AI. I could do all things, okay, through ChatGPT. I don't get involved. Listen, I'm the visionary.
That's right.
Okay, I'm the visionary.
And let AI and Jayla do the rest. That's right. That's right.
But that's how the idea of work receipts came about. It was simply nothing more than just to like make that business run more efficiently. But now what we've come to understand is that it's much, much, much more powerful than that. Yeah. And I've had the benefit, the very things that people say would be my like downfall. I'm a woman, I'm Black, I'm in tech. The very things that they say, it wouldn't be successful. I think that's the reason why I've gotten so far, kind of flying under the radar, because nobody's really paying attention to me.
Yep. Yeah.
Most people, most
I
white
am.
people.
We are.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but like when I go to investors who are not people of color,
Right.
almost the first thing they ask me is like, why would somebody need to document what happens at work? And I'm just like, when Black people are born, there are certain truths that we are born with.
Come on with Black people.
And we, for real. And one of those truths is that you have to document what happens at these jobs, because you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt.
It's going to be a lot of doubt there.
But nobody, the innovators, right? They can only solve the problems that they can see. Yeah. And because most people in tech are not Black.
Yep.
It's like nobody ever thought to solve this problem because they didn't even know it exists. It's not a part of their lived experience.
Yeah.
And so now, we've been able to do all this without a lick of VC money.
Oh my God.
And now, yes, girl.
What?
Yes. We don't have any VC money. We're running on hopes and prayers over here and caged birds revenue. Yeah. And I haven't put any of my money up. Yeah, I haven't put any of my money up. I started all this with like $150 3 years ago when I, bought the domain name of Caged Bird and set up a booking link, and from there I just kept growing. My uncle gave me $75,000 last October. And that was really to just jumpstart, to move the tech from our dev shop overseas to here in the United States.
Yeah.
But other than that, I have not taken any venture capital money.
Oh my God.
So I still own, other than the employee pool, I still own 99.8 something percent of the company. Yeah.
That is amazing. Oh my God. Let's talk about how we got here. Cause girl, oh my gosh. Let's talk about how we got here in the first place, right? Yeah. You were in corporate America.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. What happened that made you be like, I got to get the hell up out of here? Like, what happened? What was the moment?
So I think the context here is important. I'm the daughter of an entrepreneur, and I'm a daughter of a kind of Black historian of sorts. So as I was raised by somebody who was never in corporate America. There was never conversations about how to succeed in this environment.
Yeah.
All I saw was somebody build a business from nothing to something.
What was the business?
It was a computer company. It was a computer networking company. Yeah, so I'm familiar with technology, probably more so than the average person, just because I was raised around it.
Yeah.
So that's what my realm of possibility came from, right? That just because I'm Black doesn't mean anything, and and if my dad can go from nothing to something, then so can I. At the same time, I have an uncle who just actually retired from corporate America. He was a C-suite executive on Wall Street. And so I grew up around him a lot. And so I had kind of this rich dad, poor dad situation where my dad had a lot of freedom, maybe not a lot of money. Then my uncle had a lot of money, probably not a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
And I always knew that I was probably going to be an entrepreneur because I was raised by somebody who's very outspoken, who his existence did not depend on any form of whiteness. And so therefore he showed up as himself all the time. And that is something that I came to value as my own individual. And so, but I also knew that I'm not a manual laborer. Okay. That's not in my ministry. Okay. So I said, I will go to corporate America just to understand how the machine works. And then I'll leave. So like my literal motto, anybody can tell you this who knew me back then, I would say this all the time. I'm here to get the most amount of money in the least amount of time and get the hell on.
Yes.
And so, when I started my corporate journey, I did all the things that, we were expected to do. I straightened my hair on the first day of work. I came out of the gate, solving problems fast. I was, burnout. I was super intelligent. People recognized it, but when it came down to like my performance reviews, I would never like get my just due. And like I never forget my first performance review. These people call me average. And I was like, wait a minute.
We cannot be working in the same place.
I don't even know what that's about. Like, and that's when I first kind of realized, okay, this is it. I had to disconnect from this personally and just get this money and get on.
Yeah.
And so, as my career went on, I started having experiences with people doing stuff like, I started a new job and I realized that, the work that they said that they did wasn't as thorough, and I'm the new person on the team. So I'm like, did y'all know this? And now I'm the bad guy for pointing out their incompetence.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go start, they went to my boss, who at the time was, he was a person of color. They went to him and he was like, they were like, Cierra's unprofessional. We read her emails and we don't like the way that she types. And I was just like, if this is how it's going to be, let me know, because I'll quit. Y'all can have y'all money back and I'll go do something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because I curse. So it's like, I don't want to be
ain't got
here.
time for the games. Exactly.
He was like, no, Cierra, don't worry about it. Like, I hear you. I see you. I understand the problem. I'm going to address it. I said, okay, great.
Yeah.
And, just like so many like times after that, I think the thing that kind of broke the camel's back, I was in a meeting and this was like our second meeting and I was like the project manager. And the last meeting we had spent the whole meeting debating literally one sentence. So this meeting, I just made a disclaimer. I was like, hey guys, we can't waste another meeting on this one sentence. So I'm going to proactively, I'm going to actively move this meeting along. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I just want to be efficient. So after like the second time of me like moving the meeting along, this woman goes, y'all, let's move on. Cierra's angry. And I was like, why do you think I'm angry? In front of the whole meeting, I was just like, why do you think I'm angry? And of course, all the blood flushed out of her face and it was like awkward silence. And I didn't say nothing. Like I refused to speak. Like I wanted an answer. And then somebody else was like, oh, let's just move on. So then,
now we moving on.
So then we get to the meeting. After the meeting, to her credit, she called me apologizing. And I was like, public offenses and private apologies don't work for me. And so like, you need to email the whole team. And plus I was gathering receipts. I was like, nobody's gonna believe me. So I was like, you need to email this whole team and apologize. And she did. And after that, I was just like, I gotta go. I don't know what it is. Like maybe I'm just too ghetto or whatever it is, but like this is not this for me is gonna be a no. Like I'm too much of a real person for this. Yeah. And so, I left with my check. And then after that, it was really just me being a helpful spirit. I was just like, man, I just went through hell. Like, because when I was tussling with them back and forth for that check, I was also depressed, like for the first time in my life. Like they were trying to put me on psychotropic drugs, depressed.
Oh my gosh.
And I will never forget it. It was so bad that my therapist was like, there was a smoothie shop across the street from my apartment. She was like, I'm going to sit on this phone on the Zoom. You're going to walk across the street and go get a smoothie. It needs to be green. And then you're going to come back here and we're going to have therapy while you're drinking that smoothie. So I know that you at least had something to eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they took me to like a psychotherapist and they were like, you need drugs. And I don't believe in it. I know that's so bad. I know it's a generational curse, but I got to draw the line somewhere. And so I was like, I'm not going to take the drugs, but I will do a little weed. So that's what I did.
Which is the same.
I mean, I would rather do that than prescription drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but coming out of that, I was just like, I would never give these people the opportunity to take my life again. Never.
Yeah.
Like, I would never. And I think that to me is what kind of stuck with me the most. And it still sticks to me today, right? Even like when I was on the phone talking to people who are calling a caged bird, or when times when like I really am just exhausted and I don't want to get up and I don't want to talk about work receipts and I don't want to figure out how to solve these big material decisions of consequence. The thing that keeps me going, I swear it's not money. Like the thing that keeps me going is knowing that there's somebody out there that is going through some crazy shit at work. And maybe the only thing that they have is work receipts, or maybe the only thing that they have is caged bird. Like that is the thing that gets me going, because I didn't have caged bird for myself. I didn't have work receipts for myself. So it's like, this is what keeps me going. Like knowing that if somebody out there needs some help, at least they have one of these two products or services that can help them. And I think when people ask me like, about my success, I think, entrepreneurship is ghetto, it's hard. Yeah. It's raggedy, it's exhausting. It takes every ounce of my life.
Energy. Yes.
Like I don't date. I don't have dogs. I barely see my friends. I work 24/7 nonstop. I dream about it. I think about it. Like it has just consumed me. But I also think that's one of the things that makes me successful, because I'm so committed to it. Damn the money, but just for the principle that I know that at least 10,000 people have been helped on the caged bird side. and 9,000 more have been helped on the work receipt side.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, and anybody who works with me knows our motto: every day that we help somebody, we are successful, and therefore we have been successful since day one. And so we try to keep our focus. Yeah. So we try to keep our focus on the people and like what we're here for, because there are days that all of us, we do not want to do this. Like, it's exhausting.
Yes, I am tired.
Listen to people's traumatic stories, people who've been through traumatic stories themselves, who get up every single day to support people. Like, sometimes I just be like, I should go get a job and use half my brain for about $250,000 a year. Yeah. But that would not nearly satisfy me as much as knowing that we helped somebody get severance, or we connected them to a lawyer, or we gave them a piece of information that they would not have otherwise had. Yeah. So, yeah, that's why we do it, girl.
I think I just want to kind of highlight what you were saying about the fact that you're listening to a lot of these stories and taking a lot of that in, the burden sometimes of that, because it is very heavy. Like, when you're listening to a lot of those same stories, and it could be a bit much, and some of the stuff is very traumatic. Just like you said, there can be situations of physical violence, sexual violence that happens inside of the workplace, harassment that happens inside of the workplace, and you all kind of bear that mantle for your users. And thank you. Okay, first of all, we just want to say thank you, because this is such a good platform. Like, I've never seen anything like this. Like, when we linked up, I'm like, what is this? This is just out there. It has existed, but like you said, it has been kind of under the radar. But I think it's such a good thing, just such a good resource to have access. And you have these people here who are helping you towards this dream of making sure that the workplace is different for employees. That's what we really want, and that's the goal. But I know that it can be a bit tiring. So I salute you, my sister, because baby,
you don't know the half. You don't know the half. I mean, we can switch and talk about entrepreneurship just straight up if you want to, because that has been. I'm grateful for it all. You know, the good, the bad. I'm grateful for it all. You know, I think I am not the person I was 3 years ago. My friends tell me this. My family tell me this. Like, totally I care about way less than people think I care about. Like, and I think every time the businesses hit a new level, like, I, as a leader, as a CEO, I also have to change how I show up. Right. Like, and I think sometimes, like, being a Black-owned business, like, people assume that because it's Black-owned, that it's unstructured.
Let's talk. Let's stay right there. Say it, please. Please, because I saw you inside of that boy video.
What video?
Girl, the video where you were not on the video, but you were in the comments, and they was talking about Black businesses. And I saw you. I was like,
I know you're talking about. Yeah, because it's like, people assume that just because it's run by a Black person, that's unorganized, that's unstructured, and anybody who's been inside this can tell you that is so not far from the truth. That is so far. I don't believe in unorganized businesses. Yeah, I don't believe in businesses without lawyers. I got about 4 or 5 lawyers on retainer for different things. For different things. And I also think that because I'm a woman, the amount of times people email asking for exceptions, asking for free services, it's just like, if I was a white man, y'all would never. Y'all would never. Y'all would never.
And they tug at your heartstring.
Yeah. And even sometimes, like, I've hired some folks who've asked me, you know, can I front their check because they can't eat? Can I do this and I do that? And I was like, y'all, please don't ask me for nothing you ask me no white man for, because it's unfair to me. It's unfair to me. And how we show up in the market matters. Yes, the market does not respond to Black incompetence. It does not. No. So yes, we have high standards of expectations, because I hold myself to high standards of expectations. And the reason why Caged Bird has continued to grow exponentially for the past 3 years, the reason why work receipts now exist, is because of these high standards. This doesn't just happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
But because of how I talk and how I show up, like, baby, I'm a Black woman. I could do anything I want to be. I could go shake my ass at the club, and then I can come back here and run 2 companies, one in which I don't even know how to code and still bring a product to market.
Come on.
So it's like, but I just think like these are the things that comes with being like a business owner, a Black owned business that people really don't talk about. And I like when I promote Worker Seeds, I don't hinge on the fact that it's Black owned, because it really doesn't matter. Like, I think just my face, people can see that, but we don't market like
that way.
There's no like, we don't market that way.
I saw that as well on your site. Like, it doesn't mention anything on social media. It doesn't mention that.
No,
I did notice that you all did not lean into that. Is there like a particular reason why, or you just feel like it's not necessary?
I feel a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
The reason why Worker Seeds has been so successful so fast, right? It's really unheard of for a product to have 10,000 downloads damn near organically in less than a year. Is because I had already built Caged Bird, right? Caged Bird has a community of like 80,000, right? And it could have more if I cared enough about social media, which my social media girl, Ruth, like you need
to get it on social media active. I have been seeing you post videos. I have been seeing that you've been a little more active and doing the response videos. I saw a couple of those too. So
yes. But so because I already had the brand of Caged Bird and I gave it to that community first, people already, associated me from Caged Bird, right? And then when you go on the page, all of our advertising is, minority forward, because these are the people who need the product the most, right? And then, I don't really feel the need to put in the copy, because a good product is a good product. And I know it's a good product. And so it wouldn't matter if I was white, blue, pink, black, or purple. When you see Worker Seeds, and let's not, I'm going to toot my own horn here. The genius, I'm actually a marketing genius, okay? The names of these businesses, Caged Bird, HR, that's a Black-owned business just by the name.
Caged Bird was a dead giveaway.
Just by the name.
I immediately thought I know why the Caged Bird sings. As soon as I saw the logo, the name, I'm like, yes, okay.
Right. And that was because I was trying to communicate to people that I understand what you're going through, because I've been there myself. And so that's how Caged Bird came out. But then Worker Seeds, that's a very culturally forward name.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't understand, most people think Worker Seeds is an accounting technology because they think it's like a receipt, upload your receipt, that type of stuff, right?
Receipt.
But the receipts, okay. So there's a lot of ways that we communicate that we are a culture forward brand through the work that we do, without us having to put a banner on the front door saying that it's Black owned, right? And that was intentional through like the naming of the companies, et cetera. But then also, like I said, I just believe that Worker Seeds is a damn good product, and I'll stand on that. The fact that I'm Black just adds to it.
I do feel like sometimes Black owned businesses become a target when they advertise that way, because there are a lot of people, that have valid concerns, right? Some concerns are valid, okay? We know that there are some institutions or some organizations that are like Black owned that have not been giving out their best customer service or whatever it is. We're just going to be honest and say that does exist. But then there are times where when you advertise that, where you get a specific customer who is like, you get a specific person who is looking for an issue, like looking for free things, looking for something of a lower value, because they don't value when they see Black, right? So they see Black and they feel like Black means lower value to me. So they automatically expect that. Unfortunately, it's a terrible thing, but it's the truth. A lot of times there are some situations where you see Black businesses say, like, I have people coming in and, they want things for free, or they want a discount, or my cost is too high, or this and this. Like, I've had Black brands reach out to me, and
is this tea?
This is some tea. This is some exclusive tea. Okay. Girl, I done had some Black brands reach out. and I tell them what that fee is, I don't hear from them no more. They be like, or
I want to be clear, that was not work receipts. I want to
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I want to be clear.
Or they'll like want me to do things for free, like with no type of like I'm not benefiting anything from this. So it's like, girl, what? Like, yeah, no, it does not work like that. And so it's just like, I wish our people, we probably need to do another episode about that specifically, or a live or something where we talk about like different ways that we need to learn how to engage with Black businesses. You don't go to, I know ain't nobody shopping at Target, but some of you traders are, but that's another day. But you don't go to Target asking for deals. You don't go to Publix asking for deals. So when you go to Black businesses, you know what I'm saying? Keep that same energy is what Cierra is saying. Yes.
Well, and the other thing too is I tell my team, like, we don't work for free under any circumstances. That's number one. And number two, we can only control what we can control. Yeah, like we didn't change our prices for 2 years, and this year we finally raised the price. And let me just tell y'all, we're still being underpaid relative to the value that we are bringing to people who running off here with $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 in severance, and we're not even taking a cut of that. We're still underpaid. Okay,
just the things inside of work receipts alone, like the benefit that work receipts has for users alone.
Yes, and it's free.
it should be done. First of all, y'all should be charging at least $3.99. Okay, at least that's a minimum. All right,
a minimum.
But people should be paying that every month, or if you want to do like, hey, download it $14.99. You got it forever. However you want to do it, you have it as a free resource. But then there are paid things inside of the app. But I definitely think just the resources that you get from the product, not even talking about even before you even get to Cage Bird, the fact that I can document everything. I can put voice notes in here. You can put a note on there, but your notes also go with your Apple ID. Okay? And we know that there are some things, some apps inside of these companies that have access to your phone. So you got to be very careful about what you use. So work receipts is something that is very secure. Just the security alone and the resource that you have with Jayla.
And the separation from their company machines. I hear people say all the time, like, oh, I just use OneNote on my computer. I'm like, your company computer? Because they can read that, baby. Like them notes they can see it. They know, they can see it. They can read it. They can cut your access off, and then you won't have any grounds to try to get severance because you don't have no receipts.
Yep, nothing. Receipts. Or the people who keep it in the email. Oh my God. Yeah. If you don't email yourself, what are you doing? Yeah. Why are you backlogging?
But people don't know. People don't know. And so to be quite frank, like that's always been one of our issues. Like how do we reach people who don't know? Because yes, there's a subset of society who gets it. They ran to the product. Yes, I need this. But how do I reach the Amazon driver? Yeah. How do I reach the Wendy's worker? Yeah. How do I reach the person at TJ Maxx and educate them on this is why this is important, right? People who are in low rights awareness environments, right? So like that's the task at hand is figuring out how can we reach these people, recognizing I'm still the only full-time employee. I have 2 people on Cage Bird that do all the calls, and I have a dev team of 8 or 9 that I manage. We are on limited funds because I haven't raised money. And it's not that I can't raise money, right? People don't know this, but I opened up a $1.5 million pre-seed round on a 15 post-money cap. And I raised about a third of that in 45 days.
Girl.
And and then I turned it down. I refused the wire. Yeah. Why? And let me tell you, because it wasn't, so there's 2 things. One of the groups that I raised it from, they told me they'll be ready to wire in 2 weeks, 6 weeks later, and I have any money. And from them. And I'm not the type of person where I'm just sitting around waiting for people to solve my problems for me. Like I'm in the trenches figuring out how to make 1 + 1 = 2. Yeah. And in that same 6 weeks I was waiting on them to be ready to wire, I had went and renegotiated my engineering bill in half. And so by doing that, Cage Bird can then cover the engineering bill, which now means I'm back to my runway being infinite. That was
Mm-hmm.
one thing. And the other thing is, my lawyer always says we raise money when we need it and not a day before. And first of all, I was burnt out. Q1 was hell.
Yeah.
Q1 was hell. I had family members being diagnosed with cancer. I was working 99 hours, like
Oh
not
my
eating.
gosh.
And the thing about raising money is, like, if I would have took that 550, I would have been obligated to go raise the other $1 million. And if you know anything about raising money, like raising money is a full-time job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I got to make a choice. Like, I could take this money and then go raise another $1 million, even though, I have an infinite runway at this point, or I can just pause the round and get myself together so that I'm at least making sound decisions and then come back to the table. And that's, ultimately what I decided to do. It was absolutely unequivocally the right decision. Folks were not happy about that. And I completely understand and respect that. But I also completely understand and respect the fact that when I started this business, I said, no matter what happens, I'm going to do what's best for me.
That's right.
For me.
That's right.
And that's
how we got here in the first place.
That's how we got here in the first place. And I was like, but I don't regret it. It was absolutely the right decision. It was absolutely unequivocally the right decision for me and the business. I could have taken the money. It would have been comfort money. We would have been able to go faster. I would have paid myself. People don't know I've been paying myself $40,000 for the past 2 years.
Oh my goodness!
I've been living off money I've been had that I invested, flipped, and tumbled, and then other stuff. People think I'm living large. Like, no, baby, I'm putting every penny back into this business.
Yes,
I'm committed to it. But that comes with
sacrifices.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
First of all, you need a masterclass or entrepreneurship, and whenever you sign up or when you create it, girl, I will be your first. Because I don't know. I've been talking about doing it, and I'm like,
as somebody who actively encourages people, I actively encourage people not to start businesses.
Yeah.
When people tell me they want to do it,
I already did that part, and content is not slowing down. It's not slowing down. It's only getting busier and becoming more and more of a responsibility. So I am gearing towards this point where I know I'm going to have to make an exit eventually. So at least within the next year is my goal. Yeah,
that's good. What I would say is, leave with some money. Always have a little cushion. Entrepreneurship is crazy, especially in like the creator world. Just because of AI, people are becoming more distrustful of what they're seeing on the internet.
Yes.
So make sure you have like a little cushion. But other than that, I think you'll be fine. And think of yourself as a business first, because a lot of these creators be out here thinking that it's not a business, and it's just like, I don't know.
It definitely is. Yeah, them contracts you signed, they mean something. Okay, guys, please do not sign a contract.
Hello, because we enforce ours. You do business.
That's right.
We enforce shit. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So make sure that you read whatever contract you sign. Okay, if you are on social media, okay, please make sure that you read that contract. But I do want to get to just a couple questions from listeners, okay? So question number one. Now, y'all know we call everybody Betty. I had to tell Cierra before we started. I said, when you hear me say Betty multiple times, we just talking about different people. But Betty is a way that they can remain anonymous, because Betty could be anybody. It could be Betty Smith, Johnson. In your situation, your name could be something totally different, so they don't know that it's you. Because I've also learned that a lot of coworkers listen to me together at work, so much so that I had one person reach out to me and was like, "Can you make Monday motivation specifically about this?" And I said yes, and then I did it. And when she got back to work that next day, she messaged me. It was like, "Girl, no more problems. No more problems." Okay, thank you for doing that Monday motivation, because I ain't had no more problems out of Betty. I'm like,
that's crazy.
Yes, that's good. Thank you. That means it's working. You're listening.
You're the whole office listening.
The whole office, girl. Like, they'd be like, "I can't comment on your page because my coworkers." I'm like, okay.
Hey, coworkers.
Girl, I done had to delete comments because somebody commented something and she
Lord.
didn't realize that her people follow. And so she messaged me and was like, please delete that. I was like, absolutely.
Oh my
Absolutely.
goodness.
And then
Wow.
one, can you block my boss? Yes. I have blocked. They sent me her TikTok name. I blocked her
Oh
on every
goodness.
platform with her real name, so she can't see me no more unless she looking through somebody else's. But yes,
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
it's an emergency situation, child. So, all right, our first email is from Betty, or first text is from Betty. It says, my friend just started a new job and all they got was a laptop shipped to their door, no team intro, no clear understanding of their first week. I have told her this is not a good company to work for, but she is not listening to me. Can you make a recommendation?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we deal with this quite often, and I think, the thing that we say is like we can only help people that want to be helped. Like
Mm-hmm.
we can sit up here and talk to you till blue in the face, but you're gonna have to go tell your HR what happened to you, right? And if you
Yeah.
don't want to do that, that's your decision, and we support that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say that we didn't try, right?
Yes.
I would agree that if you start a job and there's like no support, there's like
That's
no
a red
support.
flag.
That is a red flag. But if you choose to stay, and people stay for jobs for a lot of reasons, right? Your friend could realize that's not a good job, but she may need money, right? So we have to
Yeah.
understand if you have different motivations for staying in jobs. What I would say to the friend is like, if you're going to stay, then you need to contract with your manager like expeditiously on what is your role, what are you expected to do, what are your deliverables, what's in scope and out of scope. Because we don't when you start jobs like that, it's very rare that you get the benefit of the doubt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you start jobs where there's no like clear and defined roles, expectations, it's even easier for the company to say that you didn't meet those expectations,
Yeah.
and then put you on a PIP or move you out. So I would say the suggestion is two-part. One, you have to let people live their own life and go through their own journey, right?
Okay.
That TikTok where it was
Experience
like,
and
you
consequence.
just ain't fed up enough, you just ain't fed up enough. That's my favorite video.
Oh my God.
You
Are
have
you
to
talking about the girl when she said
yes,
you need
you just
one
gonna
more
keep
time?
getting, yes,
Yeah.
you need to get one more time.
That's
So
all you did. You
your
need to
friend
get
is
fired one more time.
just one more time. You need to let people play with you one more time before you say enough is enough. And your friend has
Yes.
not reached that point, and so you just have to let people live their lives and go through their own journey while
Agreed.
supporting in the ways that feel good to you. So,
well, I absolutely agree, Cierra. I couldn't answer
yeah.
that question better myself. Like when I read it
Yeah.
earlier, I'm like, now, first of
Yeah.
all, you ain't got to pay her rent. Okay. We don't know what this girl financial situation is.
Yeah.
And she probably holding on to it for a reason.
Yeah.
Yes, like she said, like Cierra said, that is a giant red flag. And hopefully
Yeah.
there's just like a level of miscommunication that won't continue inside of the workplace. But even if it does, your rent is due on the 1st.
Right. And I will say that it's not, that red flag exists anytime you start a new job.
Mm-hmm.
So in analyzing data over Caged Bird, what we found is that the best indicator of somebody about to have a negative experience is not when they start a new job, it's when they change jobs of any variety. Is when you have to start over and relearn people, processes, your manager, etc. The risk of there being a negative workplace experience goes
It's
up,
high.
especially for Black women. So it doesn't matter. It would be the same as if you got promoted into a new job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those first 90 days in that new job are going to be critical to making sure that you get off on the right foot. And if your manager is not providing you the things that you need to be successful, you need to sit down with your manager and get those answers that you need to set yourself up for success.
Agreed. All right. I got one more from Betty, or from another Betty.
Okay.
Betty says our team is incredibly diverse in terms of age and background and work styles. Sometimes it feels like different groups stick to themselves. What can we do to make this a better work environment where it's inclusive? So everybody is all together instead of like in groups, I think is what she's asking. I have my opinion. Let me get my fake mic. Do you have a fake mic? That's right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to say I don't have an answer. I don't have a podcast appropriate answer. Let me just say that.
This is actually appropriate. I can say whatever I want because I own the rights to this podcast. Hallelujah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you get diverse people to commingle at work
with you?
With you? They don't have company sponsored events that you did. Like, I don't get it. Your office is segregated? Is that what you're saying?
I feel like that's what she feels. Like, I think this is probably a manager. She did not say whether or not she was because it's anonymous. But
I think it has to be because you asking about questions on it for the benefit of the organization, girl. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't solve those kind of problems.
I feel like this is a manager wanting this, but I will say, leave them people alone. Okay. It's a reason why they are not intermingling. And until they do it naturally, you don't want to force it because then people feel forced to be together that don't necessarily want to be together yet or at all. Okay.
I feel like I need more details. Like, are these Black people that are eating lunch together? Are these like?
That's what I'm saying. Why are you
maybe they want to have a moment
talking, or
maybe they want to have a moment.
I feel like this is a white woman. I know it is. I almost feel like it is in my heart. It's a white woman who is a manager who wants everyone to come together and kumbaya, but sometimes people breaking off into their groups that are relative to them. Like, I would naturally be in a space where there are other Black women because I am comfortable like that. I don't know. I just
when I was at work, I almost always ate with Black people. I don't know.
That's what I'm
then I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I always eat with Black folk.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like
that's a good question. Whoever you are, if you have an answer to that, let me know. Because we don't have those problems at Cageburg. Because everybody's Black. I don't know. I just let people live their life.
This one, okay, this is our last one. Hold on, let me see if I got a good one.
Me using a box cutter is crazy. Okay.
Girl, use it. You can use whatever. Like, I had a hammer in one of my videos. Okay, listen. Okay. This one is okay. This is good. This is the good one. This one says, my company offers training, but it's usually very generic and doesn't really align with my career goals. Should I participate in additional training required by my company, or should I say no, thank you?
If it's required, you need to take it.
Take your ass to training.
Yes, you what? It's required. Yeah. It's not like it's not optional. Yes, you need to take the required training.
Listen, y'all.
Because it's required for a reason.
It's required for you to stay employed.
Yeah. So you need to take the training.
You guys.
I know they're like not helpful, but some of the ones, if you take it, you can be held accountable to. Like the sexual harassment training. Yeah. You need to take that. And a lot of those trainings are required by law too. The HIPAA training. Yeah. Yes. And depending on the training, some of them are required by law. So if you literally don't take it, they will fire you. So yes, you need to take all required trainings.
Do what is required, period. As long as it is not breaking the law. Okay.
Get you for insubordination. It's going to be a clean fire. It's going to be a clean fire.
And this is where accountability comes into play, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. When y'all write in, sometimes your ass is in the wrong. This is one of them times you need to do the damn training. Okay. Please do not skip out on a required training, required mandatory meetings, like things that your ass got to be there for, and they could document that you were not there and it counts against you.
Absenteeism.
Ooh!
You thought you was going to run in that meeting at 10 o'clock.
Oh, Lord.
And they wasn't going to get you. Especially if you get paid by the hour. Like, don't put this out the game.
First of all, why are you not on time? If you hourly, your ass need to be there at 59, okay?
And
you supposed to be there at 8, you better be there at 7:59 to clock in.
You know what it is? And this is why I respect what you build, is that because you be actually telling people that's helpful information. Because some of these influencers, the problem is people who have experienced HR think that they understand it. And then
Mm.
they get on the internet and they be telling you how to do stuff that you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to be doing. And then
Mm-mm.
you call Cage Bird and you talk to some professionals and we be like, that was a clean fire.
Yeah.
Like you didn't
It's
show up to work on your
justified.
birthday because the TikToker told you had to work on your birthday, and they fired
Oh
you for
my
job
God, I remember
abandonment.
that TikTok. I remember that TikTok. It's a girl that did not go to work on her
Yes,
birthday because it was her birthday, and her manager
and
called
they
her and they fired her. It was a clean fire.
clean fire, job
It's your
abandonment.
birthday. Take it off. You just not gonna show up and do a no call, no show, and be like, I'm gonna have a job. No, you're not.
It's just like I tell people all the time, like TikTok will get you fired.
Yes.
TikTok will have you poor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They have turned TikTok into QVC. And
Girl.
y'all, people are sitting there buying. And the thing you don't understand is that you're spending your choices.
Mm-hmm.
The worst part, you're not only mad about what's happening to you, you're mad because you can't do anything about it because you don't have any money. Because you spent $200 on TikTok Shop buying, a spin mop
Yep.
and some gadgets. Wasn't
That
nothing
your
wrong
ass
with
ain't
that.
gonna use. They gonna be broke next week. Come on now. That's why I don't promote TikTok Shop. I literally have only done like one video, and it was about that fan that I actually used when I went to Disney because it kept my silk press together. And that was the only thing that I ever promoted on TikTok Shop. But that's why I don't do it, because I feel like it just increases consumerism. And
Yes.
people are
And it's
not
ruining the
necessarily in,
planet.
yes, people are not necessarily in situations where they can afford that. And I get the emails all the time about, I'm going on this trip and I don't have the PTO hours. That's another problem. Like, you don't have the time. Why would you book a trip and then think you're going to be back with a job when you get back from out of town? Like, it is crazy. Cierra. Okay. My friend name is Cierra. That's why I'm saying your name like that. Because I'm like,
It's
Cierra.
like we have got to get a grip on what and that's why I say people are becoming distrustful of what they see on the internet.
Yep.
Because they are being led astray. You remember, and I think there's a lot of pressure to be a part of trends, right? And this is why I say a lot of this stuff is internal. Like, you really have to be confident in who you are. I've never been a trendy person ever. I don't give a damn what everybody else is doing. I'm gonna do me, and that's why I'm sitting here today as a millionaire who don't gotta do shit that I don't want to do. Okay. But I think there's a lot of pressure for people to like participate in trends. I remember the Stanley Cup trend. Stanley Cup was not designed for you to have 62 of them. The point of it was to have a drink that remains cold for multiple hours. But it became an elitist thing where the more you had some sort of status. And now they're making TikToks about the Stanley Cups being found in Goodwill. And it's like, you think we're going to learn something from that? No. That's why I'm like,
it's just going to be the next thing.
I support the tariffs on Shein and Temu. I support it.
It'll stop people from buying.
Stop people from buying stuff. I support getting rid of the exception, the $800 tariff-free exception. Get rid of it. Make everybody pay the taxes on it, because it's literally ruining the planet, and it's taking away people's choices to live their lives how they want to live. Yeah, I got to a point where let me tell you something. There are people out here that they call up here. They was like, this happened, and I just didn't go back. She was like, I ain't need the money. Or they'll be like, yeah, they offered me, $100,000 in severance. I turned it down because I just want to be able to tell my story. It is possible. There are people, Black women too, who are out here like, yeah, she said something to be crazy, and I just went home, talked to my man about it, and I was just like, yeah,
I'm staying home.
I'm done. I'm done.
Yes.
And it's like some people don't have those choices, and I want to acknowledge that, there are some people, right? Because the whatabouts going to be in the comments saying everybody don't have that. Okay, I'm not talking about things you can't control. I'm not thinking about people who born into extreme poverty. I'm not talking about people who they don't have education. I'm talking about people who work at tech companies.
Yep, corporate America,
where you're making $100,000, $200,000 a year, and you still don't have any money. You still have to show up to that job in order to pay your bills because your cost of living has increased so much. Baby, I could go down to Starbucks and get a part-time job and cover all my bills.
Yes.
This mortgage I'm in, this townhouse I'm in, is $750. I bought this house 5 years ago.
Listen, Cierra, listen.
I don't have to do anything I don't want to do.
I've driven a 2012 town and country minivan.
Okay, probably gonna save you about 60,000.
You
okay,
hear what I'm
still
saying?
drive my college car.
The transmission just went out.
R.I.P.
But when I tell you Goldie kept us good. That's her name because she was gold. And when I tell you Goldie held my family down, family trips, but you know what it did not have? A car note.
A car note. When I tell you I was driving that same 2010 that's been paid off.
Girl, we have had, there was like 3 or 4 years, maybe like about 4 years that we did not have a car note at all because we paid off my husband's 2018 car. We paid that sucker off. And then we, of course, didn't have no car note on the minivan. So we was just like attacking debt left and right. I was like, let's, and then we got the toddler in school and we got teenagers. So I'm like, we need to put some money and, do different stuff. But girl, I drove that car until that motherfucker had me at Chase Bank.
Listen.
And not going nowhere. I said, oh, hey, look, I think something going on. We need to either go have it looked at. We took it to go get it looked at and they told us how much it was going to be. And I said, I'm going to trade it in.
Listen.
And
not having a car note
now got to the point. No. Not
having a car note is a cheat code.
Yes.
I have people who are broke in BMWs. Literally.
Car poor and house poor too. I will not buy a house until, first of all, the market improves. I'm going to rent. I have no problem with it or shame in it.
Period.
Okay. And when me and my husband been talking about getting us a manufactured home, okay, buying it and remodeling it and putting it on a slap of land.
It's about freedom. And it's so much more financial. There used to be a time where you can only get financial advice from financial advisors, like
from Dave Ramsey.
Now you get on TikTok and there are so many people who are broke talking about how you should not pay your student loans.
Okay.
Y'all went 5 years without having no interest on the student loans and you didn't pay any of it because you were betting on Joe Byron.
Yep.
You could have put something toward them student loans.
And now here we are. Here we are.
Where they talking about garnishing your paycheck. They're going to get it any which way they're going to get it. But it's like, y'all, we have got to, like I'd say all the time, like Black liberation. You got to be realistic. It's about freedom. It's about financial literacy and education. Yeah. I understand life is not all about money, but I also understand that you can't do shit without it.
No.
And the less that you have, the harder your life is. I wasn't born into money.
When you broke.
Nothing.
I have never laughed on a broke day. Ain't nothing funny.
ain't nothing funny,
baby.
Like, and I've been there. Like, I've been there. So it's just like I try to tell people all the time that I talk to, like, get your money right. Go underground for 18 months and just don't do shit.
I'm telling you that not going to Target has saved a lot of money.
At least $6 billion
I would be in Target 2 and 3 times a week. Just going just
vibes.
Just going. Let me go get a Starbucks coffee and go in Target.
Just going here.
We used to go on little Target dates. Yeah, it's just like little stupid stuff. We'd go in there and just buy like little consumerism, right? And capitalism had us bound. And then when the boycotts happened, I'm like, you know what? This might be really good, actually. Because we have not shopped at Target. And I ain't been shopping nowhere else. I went to Old Navy for our vacation. But, baby, no. I ain't bought nothing. Okay? not near as how much I used to purchase when I shopped at Target.
And I've been trying to tell people, like, you cannot believe the stuff you see on the internet. A lot of this stuff is highly curated. Like, it's a whole industry in LA where you can buy luxury shopping bags, like you shopping, like you don't went and bought something. These people, listen. And now that the recession is here, it's suddenly become cool to be honest about how broke you are. Before the recession, everybody had money. Everybody was getting to it, whoop. Now I've been seeing a lot of content about how, crime because Medicaid about to get cut up. Yeah, and it's just
I thought y'all had the money.
Because
girl, I saw somebody big. You want to talk about Medicaid?
The people who are really getting money are not talking about how much money they have. They just not. They not. They barely on the internet.
Come on,
these people.
They're not talking about money at all.
Period.
On the internet, like you,
and they definitely not trying to sell you no booklet about how they make $1 million in 2 days selling damn pool noodles.
Listen to me. Somebody told me that you should be able to quit your job right now, right? I'm like, listen. First of all, I'm going about social media in an honest way. That's why it's taking me so long to make money on social media. But even if I made even a fourth, it still wouldn't be enough for me to feel comfortable quitting my job because I have a great salary. Baby, and it's consistent. Every 2 weeks, I know exactly what it's about to be. I'm not about to.
Entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
No, it is not. But also, people just feel like, oh, you on social media, you making a lot of money. That is not necessarily the case. Pretty much any amount of money. First of all, my husband, hallelujah, thank you to my husband. But I have a good job, and like we pay for everything out of our own dime. Social media does not contribute to a lot of bills. It doesn't. Or any, really. Like it's social media, a social media check from TikTok, it don't even cover rent. Okay? All right, childcare.
No.
I'm gonna use another factor. It doesn't even cover that. So it's just like
anything that you do, any type of business, I don't care what it is, content creator, YouTuber, you have to put in years of work. I know people who have spent 5 years building Instagram pages that just are now getting to 50,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even with us, like I could be on here making content and selling content, but that's not what I do. Right? People ask me all this. People be in our DMs asking me to sell them shirts, bags, booklets. They want me to have a conference. They want me to promote this and promote that. And I'm just like, I do one thing.
Tell you need a conference. I would gladly. You and Dr. Kamani Sands, I want to do one too. Mine is the fuck that job conference or like some type of retreat. But I just feel like, well, you need that, ma'am.
So a conference of sorts is on the way.
Hallelujah.
But it took me 3 years to get to a point where I felt like,
yes,
because I don't believe in selling people stuff just to sell it. Because I don't buy stuff just because other people are selling it. I don't believe in that. First of all, I believe in karma, and I have to sleep at night.
Yep.
So it's like I don't sell people bullshit. That's why I don't sell knickknacks. Also, people ask me for T-shirts and this and that and this and that. I don't sell any of that because I feel like I don't want to contribute to the consumerism problem. If I'm going to sell you something, I have to know and feel good about the fact that I'm selling you something of quality that can actually add value to your life. That's
not
why I don't sell
here, but it feels
all this
gimmicky.
bullshit.
It feels like a gimmick. Like that's why
it feels like you're just selling it because you have no money.
That's right. That's why the F That Job T-shirt, I hardly ever promote that shit. It just sit in my link because people ask for like, girl, make a FTJ shirt and I'll buy it. But I don't promote it. I'll wear it in a video or something, but I don't promote that. And then I also don't promote that I do consultations because I know of my availability too. It'd be so.
And that's another thing. That's another thing. Just from an entrepreneur's perspective, right? Like, as an entrepreneur, your time is all you have, right?
Girl.
How much your time has to make money. Okay?
Yep.
And so the time it took you to go make that T-shirt, figure out how to get it drop ship, put it on your website, like, and you didn't even promote it. So technically, you wasted your own time. right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, you did. So one
Well,
thing
I
I tell
didn't do it. I
entrepreneurs,
wasted my husband's time because he made the shirt. He made the shirt, like he made the design. We put it on there, and now it's just in my link, and people go in there and purchase. But I do not actively promote that. No.
exactly.
Yeah.
So has it made you any material money?
Yeah. Yeah.
Over
I don't
$1,000?
even. Yes.
Is it drop shipping?
Yes. Like my
Okay.
take home from that was that, if not more, each month. But yeah,
Okay. Well, that's a little bit of money. But for
I
me,
don't promote it.
like people ask me to do all kind of stuff all the time. Can I
Mm-hmm.
speak of this? Can I do this? Can I do that? And the first question I ask myself is, this gonna make me some money? Is this gonna contribute? I'm dead serious. Is it gonna contribute to my overall mission and goal in life?
Yes.
Do I like this person?
Yeah.
And the answer to any of those is no. I just simply say thank you so much for considering me, but I'm not gonna I can't do it.
Yeah.
Because my time is worth a lot of money. Like if I divide my time by 2080, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I tell entrepreneurs all the time, you have to know the value of your time, because if you don't, you'll waste it and you'll give it away. And time is all you have.
Oh my
and
god.
Time is money. Time is money, and your time has to be spent making money. Even with speaking engagements, like if there's not going to be a point where I know I'm gonna get some downloads out of it,
yeah, I'm
not coming. Like, and I know, no shade to people asking for their podcast, but it's like if I look at the podcast, you got 2 followers, I'm not coming.
I'm not laughing, but I had to that is very true. Like I did have that type of opportunity presented, and I had to turn it down because I'm like, no.
I started out doing them. Like if you look way back in the day, like 2 years ago, girl, I was telling them podcast raggedy as hell. I was like so tired, but I was like, they want to talk to me, so I'm gonna talk to them. Like I was just there, girl. But now I'm just like, it's limited. So much. Yeah, it's just very, very limited. And but hopefully one day when I'm like, up for real, I can give back in different ways. But right now I'm just like in build mode. Like I have to maximize every single opportunity. And but I respect people, who started their podcast. Peace and blessings unto you. But I just have to maximize my time. It's love. Like I tell people no with love. Like it's not even no beef, no disrespect, no nothing. It's just all love. But I respectfully can't.
Yes. And that's one thing that you have to, first of all, know your limits. Okay. Even if you got a job, please know your limitations. Like where is your hard no? You have to know that when you are starting out in the corporate space, especially for newer people, because I feel like the newer people are the victims. Like a lot of times they start these jobs and they are just wanting to do everything.
Gen Z.
Oh,
Gen Z, they got the worst. People don't even want to hire Gen Z, child.
I know. But we'll talk about that on after we're done with the podcast. Oh my goodness.
As an employer, I will say that we do not discriminate against anybody who applies.
I don't discriminate, but I definitely do not actively. Yeah, I can't actively do that. Like, no. If they are responsible adults, yes. But what I see, because I am in dentistry and a lot of people use dentistry as a stepping stone, like maybe they want to start at the front and they want to become a dental hygienist, so they're going to school and stuff like that. So they come into dentistry because there's a lot of opportunity for you to move into different spaces. And a lot of them are irresponsible, not like no skill that I can actually teach. Yes, like I feel like there's just some things you have to come into a job ready to, like, you should have. I cannot teach you how to be kind. That is a natural thing that you have to have. I cannot teach that. And when you're dealing with patients, you need to have kindness on your side, even in your tone, your delivery. Like somebody should be able to hear you smiling through the phone, whether or not you're having a good day or bad day. It does not matter, because at the end of the day, dentistry is treated as an option for some people. Like they feel like they don't necessarily need it until it's a problem. So you need to treat every single person, with kindness. And I just have seen that out of the younger generation, when they do like a working interview and the manager comes back to me and tells me what was said, and I'm like, absolutely fucking not. No.
Well, I won't generalize a whole generation because I've never worked with them directly. So, but I hear the war cries from people who have, millennials specifically who have, and I'm
It ain't
committed to
just them
learning
though.
more
It's the
about.
older generation too.
Well, they a whole nother conversation,
Oh
girl.
my God.
But I'm committed to understanding more and learning as much as I can about Gen Z because the reality is they are a part of the working world, and we have to figure out ways to integrate them into these jobs and things. But I'm not sure the best way to go about that, just based on the stories I've heard. But I'm committed to educating myself. One thing about me, I'm gonna crack up with a book. Okay, I'm gonna read a book. I'm gonna read an article. I'm gonna educate myself the best way I know how. But yeah, I've heard quite the tall tale about Gen Z. And it's just like, baby, you have to like welcome to reality. But what I have heard too is that a lot of them are just not motivated. Like they don't want to do nothing beyond whatever it is that
and they want
they're paid to
$30
do.
an hour. The fuck? Baby, look, whenever let's have a conversation. We're gonna wrap up this podcast today.
Yes, okay, because we've been yapping, okay?
We've been yapping the last 20, but I just want to say thank you so much to the wonderful, wonderful CEO of Work Receipts. Come on, hold on, let's get them right. Work Receipts. Worklution. Cage Bird. HR. Okay. So she has covered every base for you. Okay. Now we know Worklution is the parent company, but Cage Bird covers your HR portion, documentation, how to improve your skills, Jayla, the AI assistant, and she even has the connect for the attorney, all inside of Work Receipts. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Yes. I've never done a podcast with a box cutter mic, so this was the first for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I
love that for you. I love that this is
me too. I know I'm my real authentic self here today.
You find that it's more comfortable. Like when you're holding something in your hand, it just becomes natural. Like when you were talking, you were literally talking into it and saying something that was so profound, so deep. And you're talking to a box cutter.
Thank you again for having me. I do appreciate you.
Yes,
and
it is my
we'll
pleasure.
Continue to work together again in the future. Always.
Yes. So Cierra, stay around. Everyone else, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Again, thank you to Cierra. Please make sure you download Work Receipts because what the hell? Okay. We talk about it every week and you got problems going on at your job. And I'm telling you every single week to make sure you download Work Receipts. And it's easily available on your app store, through Google, through Apple as well. And it's WRK Receipts. Okay. Y'all have a good ass day and I will see y'all next time. Bye. Okay.